Hi there, this is Carolyn Boroden, and I am part of the Simpler Trading team. I want to give you a little bit of an introduction to what I do within this group. Now, I'm also known as the Fibonacci Queen, and you can find my website by going to fibonacciqueen.com, and that will have a lot of basic information that you can start with. But let's get back to a little bit more of a basic introduction of what you can expect to see when I show you charts. So I want to get started with the fact that I'm a technical analyst and I focus on the ratios derived from the Fibonacci number series, and I apply those ratios on both the price axis of the market and the time axis of the market. And that's how I identify trade setups for you guys to trade against. Okay, so for example, this is a chart of Expedia. It's a daily chart. It's an example of a chart that you would typically see on one of my end of day videos. And you could use this work for swing trades, or you can also use the same charts for day trades. Okay, it just depends on what time frame trigger that you might use. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can go to the Start Here section of my site that will explain a little bit more about triggers. But for example, what I want to do for you is I want to identify a key support or resistance decision that you can trade against. So in this first example, we're looking at a very healthy confluence of price relationships that come in for potential support in Expedia. And the zone comes in anywhere between this 110.70 to 112.13 area. That defines my risk on the trade. You can either have a stop underneath the price cluster zone, or your other option is to put your stop underneath the low, for example, that's made prior to your buy signal. So your other option for a stop would be underneath 111.88. Now, if this trade setup plays out fully, I typically give you a general target that you can shoot for. And in this case, for example, you would take the swing into the price cluster zone, and then your potential target for that trade setup is going to be this 139.45 area. Okay, so that's something that you can look at, in the bigger picture. And I do quite a few of these charts every single day. I go over these in my end of day video and describe, what the setup is, what you could potentially expect out of it, and when we're wrong the trade, because that's really important. Okay, so that's the type of chart that you might see on one of my end of day videos. But I also want to show you what you might see in the trading room if you join us in the trading room. And this is typically what you'll see when I do my presentation, which is typically 8:30 Pacific each morning, which is 10:30 Central. You'll typically see 6 charts that I'm going to go over for the trading day. And these will also identify trade setups more often than not. So for example, in today's market, or actually not today, but recently, one of the trade setups that we had was in Amazon. And I gave you key support that you should watch for a possible buy entry. And I also told you that we had timing for a possible low between the dates of January 3rd through the 5th. Well, what actually happened in this case was we ended up making a low January 3rd. This was followed with buy triggers. Our risk initially was defined underneath this cluster or underneath the low that was made prior to your buy trigger. And so far we've seen a really beautiful rally off of this area. So for example, off of that setup, there has been a rally of $34.70 so far. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, and not all of these setups are going to work. As far as what could also have happened was, you could have gotten a buy trigger against this area, and you could have been stopped out if it traded underneath this last low. Okay, but these setups do work more often than not if you use them with triggers. So what I basically do is I give you the raw material for trades every day. Okay, I do that with my end of day update, and then I also do that in the main trading room. So another example is one of the trade setups that we did in Tesla. Okay, and this was, for example, a 15-minute chart where I measured these prior declines within an uptrend. I projected those from the most recent high, ran other key price relationships, and I found a cluster of support for a possible buy entry in Tesla. Well, we ended up holding that support. We ended up seeing buy triggers, and I did do a free video today on an example of a 3-minute buy trigger against this particular zone. And so far, we've seen a nice rally off of this area. Okay, we know that the potential target number 1 for a move comes in at 229.63, and my potential target 2 comes in at 231.70. Now again, you can use these levels however it fits you. If you are a swing trader and you would rather use these levels for a swing trade, I do have some instructions for how you do that. If you are more of a day trader and you want to use some of the levels that I put out in the room during the day, then feel free to use anything from a tick chart to a 3 or a 5 minute chart to tell you that it's worth placing a bet against one of these key zones. Now I am going to show you an example of something that didn't hold. So this was a zone that we were also watching for a possible failure in S&P futures via this 15-minute chart. But you can see that we traded up into this area and it just didn't roll over. So this trade setup was a bust. If you would have been triggered into it, you would have been stopped right as we took out this zone of resistance. Okay, so ultimately what we have here are key support and resistance decisions, defined risk, and potential targets. And that's what I want to give you as far as the raw material for the trade setups. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this? My focus typically is on stocks and ETFs, but I do the S&P futures every single day, and also I do analyze some other futures markets. I also do some Forex charts, okay? So that is a good thing to know. And then let's take a look at how you might navigate the website. There are actually a couple of other things that I do during the week. One of them is I do what I like to call breakout sessions, and they are considered to be bonus sessions because I don't always do them, especially if I'm traveling or if I'm busy with something else, or teaching one-on-one or whatever. But more often than not, I do breakout sessions on Mondays and Wednesdays. I do those at 10 a.m. Pacific. And that's where I will typically take any of the requests that I've received here on the discussion forum. Okay, so this is where you have a chance to ask for analysis on something that I might not already be doing. And I do that twice a week. And as far as the entry to that session, what you would do is go under Member Resources, click on the Breakout Room. Okay, and then if you're not available to be a part of this, we also record those sessions and then we put them in the Breakout Archive. Okay. One of the other things that I do on most days when time permits is I will do some bonus charts and post them on the members box.com page. Okay, with those, I'm just kind of going through the charts and seeing what potentially needs to be updated or where there might be a a good opportunity for the trading day, and I will post it there. And then at the end of the day, I'll get rid of those charts, but I'll put them in the folder that you will see underneath the video. Okay, so you can go back and find them later, but if you're looking for updates during the trading day, this is where you go. You go to box.com and you can find the link by logging into the member area, and then you scroll down a little bit and you'll see the area that shows access box.com charts, along with a password that you can use to get to those charts every single day. So that's something that you also may want to check out. As far as where you would find my end of day video every single day, it's right here on the front page of the website. There's a link to the stock and ETF video. Just check the date, make sure it's the the video for the next trading day, and you will have to be logged in to watch it. But once you click on it, you'll see the video. You can make it larger so that you can see the levels a bit better. But then also at the end of the video, don't forget to click here to download the charts for the next session. Okay, you can basically download the zip file with typically over 40 charts a day. Okay, some of them are extra charts that I don't have time to go over during the video, and then you also do have the video charts, and you'll also have the box.com charts that I had done earlier in the day. So that is definitely something to check out. And one other thing that I want to share with you before I end this video is if you're new and a little bit of this is overwhelming, you want to go to the Start Here section. Okay, anybody can go here. You don't even have to be a member. But this is where you have a few of the Start Here videos that'll give you a little bit of a background as far as the type of work that I do and also how to use it. And then I believe I also have the guidelines in here. Okay, now if we don't have the guidelines here, what you want to do is just go to the main page of the site again, and then scroll down a little bit, actually right here underneath the trial area. So this is where you can click if you're interested in a 30-day trial. But right underneath there, you click for the guidelines, and this is, I think it's about an 11-page document that will give you an explanation of how to use this work along with triggers to make money. So I think that's enough for you guys to start with. I hope it helps, and I hope to see you soon.